Hey, welcome to the podcast. I am so glad you're here today. Today, we're going to talk about one of our character traits, our character trait for October, if you use a year of playing skillfully. And that character trait is orderliness. When we were writing this curriculum, we knew that orderliness had to be in there because we know there are so many benefits to have an order in your home and also so many side effects if you don't. I remember when I first adopted John Michael, having been a child development specialist, I wanted my house to pretty much be like a child development center. So I set up this space and I had all the things. I had the writing center and the art center and the block center and the manipulatives and the dress up area. And y'all, before long, it was chaos. It wasn't that those weren't good things. It was just too many things. And so every time John Michael would have a friend come over, it wouldn't take long till all that stuff was on the floor. And who was picking that up? Well, he was too little. So, I mean, I might, get his help, but it was mainly me. And it would be so frustrating. And I thought, okay, I've got to rethink this. How do I create a home that has order? Not only, in the kitchen or in the bedroom for me or other places for the adults, but for the children. How do we create spaces of order for them? So, we're going to talk about that today. So, let's look at the benefits to orderliness. Why is this a character trait we care about? I mean, we know that most of a child's character is developed in those early years. So, why is this one that we put in there? Orderliness has so many benefits to the cognitive development. When your child learns about order and where things go, they're developing critical thinking skills, right? Trying to figure that out. Do my socks fit in this drawer and how do they fit? How do I make the bed and do that? That's spatial awareness and trying to figure that out. It's also is time management, right? That is a great problem solving skill for them. It is so beneficial as their brains are developing to help these critical thinking skills be enhanced with orderliness, with trying to figure that out. So give them the opportunity, like have some containers and say, what do you think we should put in here? Will your Legos fit in here? Or what do you think goes in here? Or where should we keep this? Get them involved in that process of orderliness. And it's important that you have order in every area of your home, not just I'm talking the bedroom or their playroom right now where you keep things. But we're going to talk about how do you make that order move throughout your house so that it's age appropriate and developmentally appropriate for them and encourages orderliness for you all. So, the first benefit to orderliness is definitely the cognitive and the problem solving skills that it enhances. Secondly, the reason that this is important and why we put it in here is it can enhance emotional skills. Do you know that anxiety is rising at such a rapid rate in our kids? And so much of that is chaos. Kids are feeling unsettled. They're feeling dysregulated. And often it's we as the adults not taking the time to have order in the home. And I mean, just again, a routine and orderliness among the things. Where do the things go? And so our children feel that stress. And so when we have things in a space where they know where they can find it, that creates calm for them. That helps regulate the nervous system. So it is super important to the emotional development of our children to have order in our home. Lastly, even socially, order is so important for that because you're working together to create that order. It helps give you more time of connection when you're not trying to figure out where something is and the fighting, honestly, that goes on. Where was that? You put that there. Where is that? Well, if it has a certain place to go, then we all know where it is. And so it's easy to find that. So that order also enhances your social development with your child. So orderliness, it's important because it benefits them cognitively, developing that skill, emotionally, because you're helping them learn how to regulate and you're not having chaos in your home as you develop that skill, and socially, because you have more time to connect because you're not stressed out wondering where things are because of the chaos. So there are so many benefits to orderliness and why it's important. So let's look at some ways that we can work on orderliness. For me, again, because I had so many kids and so many things everywhere, I had to figure out some systems. And I think that's key for orderliness. Two things, routines and systems. That's what you need to focus on. Listen, I'm not the most scheduled person. If you know me, like schedules. I might tell you I have a schedule. I have a routine. I do about the same things every day. I do them about the same time every day. Have for a long time with my kids when they were schooling. We would wake up about the same time. We would have breakfast about the same time. We would do some chores after breakfast. We would do some schoolwork. We would go outside. We would do some more chores. We would have some free time. We would prep for dinner. You see what I'm saying? We had routines. Routines are calming for children, and it shows part of orderliness that cuts down on the chaos when you have routines. With really young children, you need to let them know what those routines are. So, a great idea is to take pictures of things. Make your bed in the morning, put your PJs away in the morning, show them what we're going to do. We're going to have breakfast, we're going to go outside. Just make a little picture board that you can have somewhere posted for those young children to know what's next. It's a great way to show order for them. Also, have places for them to put their things on their level. So, in your kitchen, find spaces for them to put their cups, their plates. If they use the same as you, great. Just put some down on their level so they can go get them, so they can put them away, so they can help you unload the dishwasher, put those away. They can start having that order at their level. Often kids can't reach things, so it's really hard for them to put them away. We have all these shelving systems that are up high. So we need to make sure we keep things at their level. One of my funniest stories kind of has to do with orderliness, but really not. But I'm going to share it anyway. I'll never forget one night I'm sitting up late and all of a sudden one of my little boys comes toddling down. He was asleep. He was sleepwalking. And he said he was thirsty and he said he needed to go to the bathroom at the same time. So he comes into the kitchen and he pulls out the drawer where we keep their cups at their level and he begins to pee in the drawer. I kid you not. He's peeing all over the cups. All I could do was laugh because he's so asleep. He knew he was thirsty. He knew he had a potty, but at the same time, so he's trying to, anyway, of course, we had to remedy that. But what I loved is that he knew, even as he was sleepwalking, where his drawer was for something to drink. There was orderliness because he knew, okay, this is my drawer, not my potty. He used it as a potty, but he knew it was his drawer. And so I love that. So if kids know what to expect, things are going to go smoother. So have places for things where they can put stuff in the kitchen. If you keep toys like in your family room, have places for them to go. Listen, I'm a queen of a basket. I love a basket, not gonna lie. And if you use a basket, use it for certain things. I love to keep books in a basket. So have a basket that's for the books. I love to keep blankets in a basket. Have a basket for the blankets. Have places for them to go. And listen, when they're little, you can label these things. Use a sentence strip and label it to help with orderness. Use a little label maker if you love those label makers. Label it. No, they can't read. Sometimes put a picture if you can with it, but they will start recognizing those letters and those words. And it's a great way to create a print rich environment as you're creating orderliness. So try to do some of that as well in your home. And then also in their bedroom, of course. This is the biggest trick to orderliness is keeping it simple. We are all guilty, I think, of too much. I know I'm guilty of too much. I always want to, of course, we want them to have everything. And especially in the child development world, again, I wanted to have so many blocks, so many dress up clothes, so many things. What I decided to do is I decided to have bins. I would label the bins and I would keep them out of reach. And then I would bring them out so that we only had a few things out at a time. Instead of keeping all their toys, you've been in people's homes where they have these great playrooms and toys everywhere. And you think, this is amazing. And then as the kids pull everything out and it's chaos, you're like, this is not amazing. That was me. So then I put these all their things in different containers and then we pulled them out. That helped tremendously for a couple reasons. Number one, it kept things orderly, which was so helpful. And number two, it kept the kids interested because if everything's not out all at the same time, all the time, then it's more interesting when you bring it out. Bring the magnet tiles out, bring the Play-Doh out, bring the Legos out, and you rotate it around every 2 weeks or so, and then it keeps things fresh for the children. So that was one of my best tricks that I did. The other thing I did is I really kept things easy for me to say yes. Often when kids say, "Hey, mom, can I paint?" You think, "Oh gosh, that means I gotta get the paintbrush out, I gotta get the paint out, I gotta get the paper out, I gotta get the water out, I'm gonna have to clean that up." No, nope, can't get the paint out. But if we have it all together somewhere fairly quickly to get out, it's a lot easier to say yes and close to cleanup. So, one of my favorite things I did was I took an old TV cabinet. Do y'all remember when everybody had a TV cabinet? I took an old one, I painted that sucker with paint that could be outside, and I put it on my big porch. And I filled that full of our art materials. I put art materials in there and I put sensory materials in there. So it was easy for me to say yes. And I kept our easel and I had a table that turned into an easel. I kept that on the porch nearby. So when my kids who love to paint, they just love to paint. Can we paint? It was an easy yes because not only did I have all the materials organized and accessible, I had cleanup. There was a sink right inside the door where we could clean up. So everything was kind of in order to say yes. So set yourself up for the yes. Have ways and systems that make it easy to say yes. If you don't like the mess, then find a place where they can do the mess. Maybe it's a bathtub. Maybe you will let your kids do shaving cream or whipping cream in the bathtub and colored water and that kind of thing. Maybe you have a little pool that you can set outside where they can keep that organized and they can paint in there, or you can have some sand in there, some dirt in there, and they can make mud pies. Where can you organize things so that it's easier to say yes and minimize, minimize, minimize? I know I keep saying that, but it really is the key. Too much is going to be chaos for everyone. So if you can just decide, okay, and how much play value does this have? I mean, really, you guys, nature is your number one toy, is nature. So ask yourself, if you're going through their toys, is this something that provides a lot of play value or is it a one trick pony? And if it doesn't really encourage them to discover, if it's not something they can really experience, if it's not something that's full of wonder, ask yourself, is it something that we need? And if not, donate it. Get rid of it. There's somebody who would love it. But really, fill your home with nature, with, I would love journals and colored pencils and magnifying glasses and baskets for collecting, scales for weighing, all these things that really do encourage discovery. Those are the things to keep around. And then keep them again minimal and orderly. That really is going to help you have that orderliness. So it's so beneficial if children learn this in the early years, because if you do, it's just the way that they're going to be comfortable as they get older. Again, we're not trying to create neat freaks, not a neat freak. I'll be the first to tell you, but I do love order. Moving to a new house, I always love figuring out where's their place. I remember one time grandmother said to me, "You find a home for everything. And if everything has a home, then you're never going to be stressed out about cleaning up." And I thought, huh, okay. But she's so right. If everything has a place, then cleaning is not stressful. You just put it back in its place. And so if we teach our children that, just put them back in its place, that's going to help keep the chaos down and help the yeses be easy because we're going to clean up. It's going to be done. That was so great. It's going to give you more time to explore with your children and connect, more places you can explore and connect because you're not so stressed out about this cleanup because there's too many things. Let go of the too many things, okay? Orderliness is something that should not be difficult. But we do have kids that are resistant to it, right? We have kids who just, no way. No way, one, are they getting rid of their things? No way are they going to clean up. So don't make it all so strict, and strict isn't the right word. Don't make it so like boring and demanding. Make it fun. Let's find a place for this. Let's create order. Let's have some music on when we're cleaning. Let's do it together. That keeps it interesting. Let's go through their clothes together and let them decide what they want to keep, what they want to give away. Even clothes, man, clothes. That can be one of the most overwhelming thing as a parent. Too many clothes, especially when we have babies. Everybody gives you everything. You have so much, and you just keep collecting. Open hand. Be willing to get rid of it. What do they really need? Ask yourself, do they really need this? Do they really wear this? Do they love this? If not, donate. So anyway, if you have resistance, you I guess make it fun, make it lighthearted. Are more open to that when we're like, get this cleaned up, demanding. You want to include them in that process of that. Be consistent. Golly, I can't say it enough. Be consistent. If you want your child to make their bed in the morning, let's make their bed every morning. You help them though. Don't send them in there and get frustrated because a 3-year-old can't make their bed properly. They're not going to know how to do hospital tucks. So keep your expectations low and be willing to join in. It's the habit. Consistency builds the habit of that. I've got kids in college now that make their bed every day. Blows my mind. But every day I would encourage them, make your bed. Start your day off where you can make your bed. I'm a bed maker. Some people are not. I like my bed made every day. And that's okay. I know that kids are different and you're different. And that might not mean a hill of beans to you. A hill of beans. Is that even a phrase anybody uses anymore? And then just keep encouraging it. Again, we're not expecting perfection in those early years. We're just expecting progress. So we want to move towards that. Again, let them help put the dishes away. Let them help clean the room, clean the playroom, clean the house. Let them be a part of that. Let them see that orderliness can be fun, can be valuable, can reduce stress, can reduce chaos. I would love to hear how you keep orderliness. I would love to hear your tips and tricks to that. So many people I know with um, the home edit and all these, it was kind of the thing a couple of years ago. I think during COVID, where all these people were keeping, really decluttering and, really putting their books in the rainbow order and all these things. And whatever works for you works. But I know children need some routine and some order. So make sure you think about this and think, where can I start with my family? Maybe it's just getting rid of some things. Maybe it's just rotating the toys. Maybe it's just decluttering a lip. Maybe it's just starting to make our bed. Maybe it's just being more lighthearted about it. But be intentional, whatever it is. Thanks so much for listening.